All right, today we're beginning a presentation called A Work in Progress. I think I'm talking about myself. Well, let me help you cross the road. Yeah, except it's not the blind guy who we're helping. It's you who's lost in your cell phone, right? Anyway, we're leaving our time now as the first thing you go into yoga. You got to get your head into an archetypal state and listen to the stories. The stories they tell are storehouses of wisdom. And when you learn in the stories that each character in the story is actually a different part of your own psyche. So you have to start thinking symbolically, psychologically. Now, first thing you have to understand is in order to get into this stuff, you got to get rid of your arrogance. You can't enter the temple with arrogance. You can't walk in and say, okay, Krishna, come on, show yourself. Come on, come on. No, that doesn't work that way. In fact, if that's the kind of mindset you have, you never even got into the temple, even if your body was physically on the inside of the temple. Because the temple isn't always just something that's external, right? So you didn't make it. You've got to drop your arrogance. So there's many, many teachings that we've gotten over the years, especially from the Buddha. Let's say compared to Christ, the Buddha was around for 40 years after his enlightenment. Christ was only around for 3. Can you imagine what teachings he would have left if we had such a long life? But the Buddha at least left teachings about disciplining yourself, discourses, commentaries on his teachings, and then a whole philosophical teaching called the Abhidharma. And one of my favorite quotes is, the Dharma doesn't suffer in comparison to any teaching. So when you study the Dharma, you can converse with anybody and your mind is really clear. You're concentrated. You know how to see through false reasoning. You're calm. You're equanimous in the face of listening to adversarial positions or contradictory positions or even paradoxical positions in your own way of understanding things. And you're clear. You're not muddied. You're not in doubt about what's going on because your own life experience through practices have proven it to you. So we learn, again, this is another Buddhist thing, more from the Tibetan teachings, these 3 aspects of ego: passion, aggression, and ignorance, as symbolized by the snake, the pig, and the cock. And so these are the 3 positive, negative, and confused states that we have to watch out for, because passion is always getting us seduced by things, aggression is always lashing out and pushing things away, and then ignorance is kind of being befuddled and not being clear about what's going on. So those are the 3 main, could say, inner ego adversaries that we have to deal with. If we don't deal with them, we end up in what I would call the twilight zone of our mind. So when you're listening to these stories, you have to realize that each story is going to appeal to you in a different way. What's your doorway? What's your entry into the story? Because it's a portal to another space. So what's the energy rise you get from the story? Does it fascinate you, offend you, make you laugh, think it's impossible, lead you to a realm of spiritual imagination? What is it? Now, you're always looking for what we call the impact statement, which has the ring of truth. It brings about a visceral response in your body. There's no way you can't somehow have a tell or show that you're affected by it. So notice that when you listen to these stories. And then start to look at the things in your life that are time to put to rest. A lot of things in the roadside that we have to just leave behind, memorialize, commemorate it, thank it, bless it, be grateful for having had the experience, and then let it go. Time to move on. So you may have to cry a little bit. You may have to mourn the loss. But as they say, tears normalize brain chemistry. If you can't cry enough about stuff, then you're messed up. And you carry that mess up with you. But also emotions are divine influxes. The things that we have swirling around inside us, they're not mistakes. They're our humanity. They're not supposed to be rejected. And there's a certain kind of majesty in confronting these beautiful things within ourselves, because they can lead to vistas that are fantastic. Now, we all have subjective associations that we make with any story. So when you're listening to a story, it's not only the literal aspect of the story, the denotative meaning, but it's the connotative meaning of the story that really gets you. It goes into the different convoluted aspects. You could say the maze of your own mind, right? And then you find the teacher. And in the Jewish tradition, it's a really interesting thing. They say there are 3 levels of problems in terms of how heavy the problem is affecting you. And when you go to visit your rabbi on Shabbos, they say that for some people, as soon as they set foot in the town and they see the sign that says the name of the town, they move into their, now they know their problems are gone because they're in the town of the rabbi. But then there's another way. Sorry about this. We lost it here. There's another way. There we go. When you go into the door of the rabbi's house and you kiss the mezuzah, as soon as you pass by the threshold, that's it. Now I'm home. But there's other people whose problems, they're soul deep, and they don't feel really comfortable until they actually see the rabbi's face. And the moment they see the rabbi's face, then all their care falls away. All right, so then we move to the story of L'chaim, the importance of community. Sometimes there are things that people can do for you in your community that even the rabbi can't do. There's the story of the seer of Lublin. They called him the seer because he had psychic power. And one guy walks into his house in order to be with the rabbi for Shabbos, and the rabbi says, "No, you can't stay here." He says, "Why not? I came here to spend Shabbos with you." He says, "I see the angel of death is in your aura. I'm sorry, you can't stay here. You'll have to go." He's crestfallen. He doesn't know why the rabbi would send him away. So out he goes. He's walking out. He's disconsolate, and it's a couple of miles outside of town. Coming the other way is a wagon full of Hasids on their way to visit the rabbi and spend Shabbos with him. And they see this fellow Jew, and they say, "Oh, you look so disconsolate. What's wrong?" He said, "Well, I was about to go to Shabbos with the rabbi, but he said he saw the angel of death in my aura, and he banished me." So they said, "Well, I don't know why the rabbi said that. Maybe he was wrong, but who knows? Even if he's not, why should you be alone? If anything's going to happen to you, you might as well be with a bunch of Jewish people to take care of you. So come on." So he hops in the wagon with them, and they're driving a little time or a long time, whatever time it takes, and they end up going to this tavern. And they said to him, "By the way, you wouldn't happen to have any money?" He says, "Yeah, I got plenty of geld." So they says, "Round on me." So they take out, a whole bottle of schnapps, and they have a couple of shots of Jägermeister, and before they're feeling no pain, do it a few times. Now they get back in the car to go to the rabbi, and now by the time they get to the rabbi's house, they're feeling no pain in the brain. They get out, they're in a jolly mood, and the rabbi looks at them and says, "What happened to you? I don't see the angel of death hovering in your aura anymore." See, this shows you what happens. Sometimes even the power of the rabbi can't change your destiny, but the power of the community can. So there's something about meeting the people on the path and making sure that we continue our life with them. Now, once you do that, what you're going to find out is that there's a part of you that's like a king or a queen, like an inner ruler, an inner royalty, and you dispense blessings. You dispense with largesse. You have the whole exchequer. You have all the funds. Right? The wealth, the abundance of the universe comes through you as the terrestrial representative of the celestial forces above you. But the whole idea is that you also want to foster and encourage independent centers of initiative and creativity. The more you can ask the people to bring what they have, it's going to be an adornment for the whole community, adornment for the whole nation. So you bless people for their creativity. You don't get jealous of them. And then you realize if you want to be creative in the kingdom, you got to work. You got to commit yourself to work as long and as hard as necessary. But once you do that, you find that you don't have to work as long or as hard. But you got to start off that way. And that's the way knowledge with action converts adversity into prosperity. And so I all recommend that although asteya is the third yama, that you're not supposed to steal or be deceptive, in a certain way, also metaphorically, you got to be a thief. You have to steal time. You have to take time away from other things in order to put time into this. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So once you accept that you're going to be a thief and steal time from stuff that's unworthy, and just remember to keep calm because you're a work in progress. And integrated progress and a social coordination doesn't arrive full bloom. So keep at it.